Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty wild, a new way to develop software that's less about typing out precise commands and more like just having a conversation. It's called vibe coding.
So here's what we're going to cover. First up, we'll get a handle on what vibe coding even is. Then we'll see how it actually works and how it stacks up against the old school way of doing things. We'll also check out the tools you can use, look at the pros and cons, the promise and the peril, and then wrap up with what this means for the next chapter in coding.
All right, Section 1, what is vibe coding? And yeah, this is a brand new way to create. The term itself was only coined in early 2025, but don't let its age fool you. It really describes a huge shift in how we even think about writing code. We're moving from super precise instructions to, well, more general intentions.
And check this out. This is the quote that basically kicked the whole thing off. It's from AI researcher Andrej Karpathy. He says, "There's a new kind of coding I call vibe coding, where you fully give in to the vibes and forget that the code even exists." I mean, that just perfectly captures the feeling, right? It's this almost magical process where you're so focused on what you want to create that the code itself just fades into the background.
So what does that really mean in practice? Well, here's the official definition. Vibe coding is this new way of developing software where you use AI to generate real, working code just from describing what you want in natural language. So instead of painstakingly writing out every single line, you're more like a director, guiding an AI assistant. You tell it what you want to build in plain English. And this, as you can imagine, just massively speeds things up and makes building apps way more accessible to people with great ideas.
Okay, and it's not just one size fits all, right? There are kind of two main flavors of this. On one side, you've got what you might call pure vibe coding. This is where you fully trust the AI. It's perfect for those quick ideas, the throwaway weekend projects where you're just trying to see if a concept has legs. But then on the other side, you have the more professional approach, responsible AI-assisted development. Here, the AI is more like a super smart pair programmer. It does a ton of heavy lifting, but a human is always there to review, test, and take ownership of the final code.
So how does this actually work in practice, from a single function all the way to a full application? Because it's not just about, telling it to do one little thing. This whole process operates on two different levels. Think of it as the micro and the macro. Okay, so first let's look at the code level workflow. This is that tight, back and forth conversation. You start by just describing what you need. Something simple like, hey, write me a function that reads a CSV file. The AI spits out the code. You run it, see what happens. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. So you give it feedback, like, okay, that's good, but now add some error handling. And you just keep going in this loop, refining and fixing until that piece of code is perfect.
But then, you can zoom way out and look at the whole application lifecycle. This is where it gets really mind-blowing. You can literally start with a big idea and describe the entire app in one go. The AI then generates the whole shebang, the front end, the back end, all of it. And from that starting point, you just keep talking to it, using follow-up prompts to add new features or make tweaks. Now, of course, a human expert still has to come in and do the really important quality and security checks. But after that, a final prompt or even a single click, and boom, your app is deployed.
So, okay, how different is this really from how programmers have been working for the last 50 years? Well, it's a fundamental shift in the developer's role, a huge change in where they spend their time and energy.
And here's the absolute core of that shift. Traditional programming is all about the implementation. You had to be an expert in the how, the specific commands, the picky syntax. Vibe coding, on the other hand, is all about the outcome. Your primary job becomes describing the what. What is the goal here? And you let the AI worry about all those nitty-gritty implementation details.
This table really lays it all out. Look at the developer's role. It goes from architect and implementer to prompter, guide, and tester. The input, it's not precise code anymore, it's natural language. And the expertise required, it shifts from needing to know every bit of syntax to needing to know the functionality inside and out. And the bottom line here is speed. It can be so much faster, especially when you're just trying to prototype something new.
Now, this isn't just some abstract idea or a theory. This is happening right now. Let's talk about the Vibe Coders Toolkit, because there's already a whole landscape of AI-assisted tools out there that lets you do this.
And I mean, the ecosystem is just exploding. You've got tools from all the big names. We're talking about Copilot, Cursor, Codium, Code Whisperer, Replit, and then a whole suite from Google like AI Studio and Gemini Code Assist.
All of these are designed to integrate right into your workflow and make this conversational style of building software totally real.
Let's zero in on a couple of these. Take Google AI Studio, for instance. This tool is all about one thing: speed. It's built to be the absolute fastest way to get from a concept in your head to a real live application that you can share with people. It is the king of rapid prototyping.
But, okay, what if you need more than just a quick prototype? What if you're building something serious? That's where a tool like Firebase Studio steps in. This is for building new, full-stack applications. It can generate not just the part your users see, but also the entire backend, complete with a database and user authentication, the whole package. And then there's the professional developers, right? People working in huge existing code bases. For them, there's Gemini Code Assist. This isn't about building a new app from scratch. This is an AI that acts like your pair programmer, living right inside your code editor. It helps you write new code, explain confusing parts of the old code, and even helps you test it. It's like having an expert right there with you, 24/7.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? Incredible speed, building things just by talking, but you know there's a catch. With all this power comes some pretty significant risks. This is the promise and the peril.
So let's break down the pros and cons. The pros are obvious and they are huge. We're talking near-instant prototyping. No more grinding away on boring boilerplate code. You can develop and launch way faster. But the cons are just as big. You could easily lose a deep understanding of your own code base. And if you don't understand it, good luck fixing bugs and vulnerabilities. Not to mention the potential headaches with data compliance.
So this really brings us to the elephant in the room. What are the biggest risks here? When you're building software this fast, what kind of security nightmares are you potentially creating?
Well, there are some major security concerns we need to talk about. First up, vulnerabilities. When you're moving at lightning speed, it's just way easier for security issues to slip right through and into your production app. Second big one, data loss. Think about it. If your prompts contain sensitive company secrets or internal data, you could be handing that right over to the LLM. And finally, fixing things gets way harder. If a serious security flaw pops up and your developers don't fully get the code, fixing it becomes a massive challenge.
So let's step back and look at the big picture. This is coding's next chapter. We're moving from syntax to intent. What does all this really mean for the future?
You know, the biggest takeaway here is that vibe coding is this massive shift. We're moving away from focusing on the picky, precise syntax of code, and we're moving towards focusing on the creative intent behind it. What this does is incredible. It lowers the barrier for anyone with a great idea to start creating, and for experienced developers, it's a force multiplier. It frees everyone up to stop worrying so much about the grunt work and focus on what really matters, solving problems creatively. And that really leaves us with this final, kind of profound question. The whole game is changing, from being about technical implementation to being about clear articulation and creativity. So the question for you is, when the only limit is your ability to describe your vision, what will you build?